Did you know that Atlanta is the 12th most popular city to move to in the nation? So if you were thinking about making a move to the Atlanta, Georgia area, you're not the only one. We have seen an influx of people moving here by the droves, and I cover it all on my channel. Where to move, things to do, places to go. And Atlanta is there's a lot of things happening. There's a lot of development occurring. There's great value in the area. We have good weather. I mean, who wouldn't want to move to Atlanta, Georgia area? And if it's you, don't answer that. But majority of the people, this is where they want to be. They want to know everything there is about Atlanta. So I often talk about the good things, the great school systems, the places to hang out, and the different suburbs around the Atlanta area. However, there are some things that can drive you up the wall. And so in today's video, I'm going to cover the worst things about living in the Atlanta, Georgia area. And this could be a decision factor for you. So where there's good, we know that there's the bad, right? And so today's video, I'm going to just tap into that. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to bring it down a notch. I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. And listen, I have been here for the majority of my life. I've gone to elementary school, middle school, high school. I am an adult raising my children in the Atlanta area. And so I know what it is to live here and to experience life living in the greater Atlanta area. And so let's jump right into today's video. If this is your first introduction to me, my name is Laurina Saunders, and I'm a realtor right here in the Atlanta, Georgia area. And on this channel, I talk about all things moving to Atlanta. All right, so let's jump right into the first thing that can drive you like just up the wall is the parking. If you are in Atlanta and you may be attending an event, it could be a professional event, it could be a concert, it could be some type of festivities that are happening in the area, or really, it could just be a regular day. Nothing's going on. Parking is ridiculous. It's crazy. You got to park on the side of the street. You got to pay a lot of money to park. And so it could be crazy. So one of the things you want to watch out for is that there's these signs. Now, these signs will tell you that you're able to park, but you can't park on certain days between certain hours. Now, if you so choose to just to run in to do a quick errand and come back out, I don't care if it's 5 minutes or 30 minutes, just be aware that your vehicle could be ticketed, booted, or towed. Atlanta does not play when it comes to parking violations. And there are people, you may not see them, they're in a truck, they're grabbing a coffee, just blending in, and they actually work for the city or the department of whatever, tickets or transportation or whatever the name is, and they're just watching you. And as you think you're not going to pay that meter or you're going to park in that spot during the non-designated time frame, they're going to ticket you, they're going to call the tow truck, or they're going to boot your car. So don't do it. The next thing when it comes to that is you want to be mindful as you're driving. We have a ton of potholes. And so some cities do a better job than others when it comes to taking care of those potholes and making sure that the roads are nice and able to ride on it. But generally speaking, we have potholes. And in some cases, we even have sinkholes. And so sometimes drivers have reported they have been driving, they thought it was a pothole, and found out it was a sinkhole once the front end of their vehicle started to go down. That is scary. That's never happened to me, but it has happened in the Atlanta area. Now, what I will say is the Georgia Department of Transportation, they do a really good job of making sure that, they cover and they repair as quickly as possible. But let's face it, they can't be everywhere all the time. And so you may have some instances where there was potholes. I remember going to deliver my daughter, and I swear to you, I felt like my fiance was hitting every pothole in the street. And I'm like, we live here for how long? You don't know where these potholes is by now? But there's always new one emerging. And that's due to the next thing that can get on your nerve, which is traffic. So Atlanta has a lot of traffic. And I know that all metropolitan areas, they have high levels of traffic. But I'm telling you, Atlanta traffic is something special. And so there's always something going on. I mean, we have trucks, we have SUVs, and of course, you have just regular cars. And over time, it does impact the roads. Now, when you are trying to get from point A to point B, you have to buffer in the right amount of time. So you may put the address in your GPS and it tells you that, hey, it's going to take you 30 minutes to get from point A to point B. I want you to add another 30 minutes onto that because of the traffic. Now, if you have to be somewhere, you have to be there in the morning, just know that between the hours of about 7 a.m. to about 9 a.m., you're going to kind of go through that traffic. School buses are out, people are trying to get to work, so forth and so on. So you're going to experience that congestion of traffic. Again, at lunchtime, same thing. Everybody's out trying to get something to eat. If it's warm outside, trying to enjoy the weather for their break, you're going to experience that traffic from about, I would say, 11 to 2 o'clock, somewhere in there. Then again, you're going to experience a high level of traffic about 3:30 to about, I would say, 8 o'clock up in that area because people are trying to get home from work, kids are coming off the bus from school, and so you're going to also experience that traffic as well. Now, Atlanta does not have a robust public transportation system. I mean, we do have the MARTA, and we do have city buses and MARTA buses and things of that nature, but you really need a car, which again contributes to the level of traffic because we do not have the infrastructure for you just to use public transportation to get anywhere you want to. So if you really depend on public transportation because you don't have a car, you want to make sure that you're connecting with a realtor that is familiar with the areas that the MARTA will run, so that way you can take advantage of that public transportation. All right, so now while we're still on the subject of traveling and driving and roads, the other thing that is, you just take some getting used to, and that I'm hearing is the air quality. So Atlanta was rated, all the cities are rated, and to make sure that the air levels at a certain level, and there's a rating scale. And so the American Lung Association are rated Atlanta a F for ozone pollution. And this is due to car emission largely. Now, in Atlanta, you can expect, and the surrounding suburbs. So for this video, just so we're clear, when I'm saying Atlanta, not only am I talking about the city of Atlanta, but I'm also talking about the metropolitan area, the suburbs of Atlanta. You have to have an emission test done on your car every year in the month that you were born. So this car emission is testing to make sure that your car is not contributing to that F rating and the ozone pollution, right? And so they take this machine and they unscrew your gas cap, they connect it together, and they test the oxygen levels and things of that nature. If it fails, you fail the emissions test. They take that same machine, they plug it into your car, and it's going through your computerized systems and they're reading the numbers. Again, if it fails, you fail. They're going to ask you to turn off your vehicle and turn it back on. If that check engine light is on, you're going to fail, okay? And if you fail, you're not going to be able to get your tags for your license plate. And so you're going to have to go to the mechanics, have them do what they do, come back, retest, and once you pass, it's automatically, the results are sent to the state, and then you're able to go and get your tags renewed for your license plate. So what I would suggest between the potential of getting parking tickets and the potential of running in potholes and needing a new alignment and brakes from breaking through the traffic and everything. Just set some money aside, set a budget aside for car maintenance and things related to the vehicle, because it is expensive owning a vehicle in the Atlanta, Georgia area. So continuing, like I said, Atlanta was rated an F from the American Lung Association. I mean, we have millions of people driving on the road every day, and so that is really causing a concern, but they are trying to combat that with things like the car emission test. Okay, so are you a tap water person or a water bottle person? If you are a tap water person, the question is asked, is Atlanta tap water drinkable? And the answer to that is yes. So, according to the CDC and the Environmental Water Group, they do all kinds of tests to make sure that the water is in the parameters that it should be, to make sure that it is safe to drink. Now, I've heard from some people that depending on where you're coming from, our water tastes great. And then other people says that it tastes like chlorine. Now, what I will say is I drink bottled water. Everybody that I know either drinks bottled water or they have a filter on their water supply and they drink that. But if you are a tap water person, you could boil the water or, just switch over to bottled or filtered water. But that is what people are saying. Now, I've read some comments that said that they have drunk the water and they've drunk the water for years and they haven't grown a third leg or a third arm, but that's at your own risk. However, the water is drinkable. Now, I do want to caution you because they don't test for everything in the drinking water. And some of the things that they don't test for is microplastic and also disinfect. So those things could be floating in the water because they're not testing in it. So just be cautious. But all in all, the water is safe to drink. Now, let's talk about crime. You didn't think I was going to leave that out, did you? So crime in Atlanta, I mean, there's crime everywhere. I get a lot of questions saying, Laurina, where are the great place to live? I want to live safe. I want to be comfortable. I don't want to have to worry about things that are happening and that could potentially happen. So this is what I say. Crime is everywhere, especially in a metropolitan area such as Atlanta. It doesn't matter if you live on the north side of Atlanta, the south side of Atlanta, or east or west of Atlanta. Crime is everywhere. Now, what type of crime may have a, decision may impact you, right? Some people are tolerant of certain crime and some people level of crime is just non-existent. So it just depends. Are you my glass is half full or half empty type of person? Now, I will say that Atlanta has experienced carjacking. Carjacking is actually on the rise, 61% in the Atlanta area. I mean, you see it on the news, you read it on the newspapers and things of that nature, that there is a high level of carjacking crimes happening in the Atlanta and the surrounding area. So what we're seeing is that people that are pumping their gas at the gas station are being carjacked. People that are sitting in their cars at like a shopping plaza and they didn't lock their doors are being carjacked. People that these perceived criminals feel like are easy targets, whether you are a single person or maybe you look a certain way as far as your body type, or if you are with your children, they're targeting people like this. So be very, very careful. I remember growing up, it was an experience in where, my family, we were in our car, we were at a red light and, there's lanes on either side of us and there was a truck in front of us and somebody was just walking across like you're crossing the street and made a quick turn and jumped in this person's car that was in front of us, their truck. And all you seen was like conversation happening and one thing left in another. I don't know what that driver had, but had something to get that man up out of his truck. So those are some serious things that can happen. And so you just want to make sure that you are locking your doors. I know, now that the cars are, a lot of fancy things are going on with our vehicles, smart cars, and all of this stuff where it automatically does one thing or another. Just make sure that you are locking your car doors. The other things is scam. So, now the QR codes is a real popular thing. And so what we're seeing is like in Atlanta, you have to download this app. And when you download this app, you pay the parking meter for you to be able to park in a parking space. And if you don't have the app, they have a sign with a QR code where you can scan it and then download the app, put your information in, pay for it, so you can pay for the parking meter. Well, we're seeing scams happening where the scammers are placing their own QR code over the existing QR code. So when you're scanning it and you're thinking you're paying for the app to pay for the parking space, you're actually putting money into the scammer's bank account. So, it's hard to detect, but you have to just be vigilant and try your best not to do that, or go directly yourself. You know the name of the company, go directly to it yourself on your app store instead of scanning the QR code. Get it, download it, and do what needs to be done. So be mindful of scammers. Okay, so next, Atlanta is a booming market. I mean, jobs are here. There's always something to do. We have new developments. I mean, Northwest, East, South, they are building movie studios. There's just a lot going on in development. New construction homes are being popped up everywhere to support the influx of people that is coming into the city of Atlanta. But here's the other side of that. As all of these amenities are coming into the city and the suburbs of Atlanta, property taxes are going up. And so when you pay your monthly mortgage, your property taxes more than likely is escrowed into your mortgage. And so you have to be very careful when you ask for great school systems, you ask for all of these nice amenities. There's a price that is associated with that. And typically it comes through your property taxes. So when you buy a home, you may be able to afford the home, but if your property taxes goes up, again, that ties into your monthly mortgage payment. You need to make sure that you are going to be able to afford that home 2 years, 3 years, 5 years from now if the property taxes continue to go up. So with that said, in Atlanta, we are experiencing a bout with homelessness. And it has nothing to do with not having a job, because there are some people that, believe it or not, have a job and cannot afford a roof over their head. Now, you do see people that don't have a job and they are truly homeless. And Atlanta is trying to combat that, Atlanta and the surrounding suburbs of Atlanta. And so when you look at some of the inner city parts of Atlanta, where it has been regentrified and things are going and growing, and these people have to go somewhere when they can no longer afford their home. So if they're able to move on the outskirts, they do so. But sometimes they have been priced out of the market and they cannot, and they don't have anywhere to turn besides living on the street. And that is something that is super unfortunate. But I want to let you know, because you will see that if you're driving on the Highway 75, which is the highway that runs north and south of the Metro Atlanta area and much of the state, you will see tents on the side of the road, under the bypasses and the bridges. You'll also see people, once you're coming off the ramp from the highway, you'll see people panhandling, asking for food and money and things of that nature. You may be at a stoplight. It may be red and somebody comes unsolicited and starts cleaning the windshield of your car, looking for, tips and things of that nature. So we are experiencing a bout with homelessness. And so if you can't handle that, or if that is something that bothers you, then you may want to reconsider your thinking about moving to the Atlanta area. So this video is not to scare you by any means. However, it's to give you a full rounded picture so that way you can definitely make the decision if moving to Atlanta is right for you. So the next thing is squatters. So Atlanta has a squatter issue. Squatters have rights in Georgia. And so if you are moving or if you're thinking about purchasing a investment property in the Atlanta area, especially an investment property, you want to have somebody check up on that property for you because squatters they will move in. They won't be there Monday and Tuesday. They would have moved in and look like they've been there for forever. And once they're in there for a certain amount of times, again, in Georgia, squatters do have rights, and you have to go through the proper process as well. So if you are still thinking about making a move to the Atlanta, Georgia area, give me a call, send me an email or a text. I get these from you all the time. I just love when you all reach out to me and you are trusting me to help you make the move to the Atlanta area. And I don't take that for granted. So if any of those options don't work for you, I do also have a link, which is down in the description. Please go ahead and click on that and schedule a date and time that works best for us to connect and for me to assist you in your relocation to the Atlanta, Georgia area. And if you live here, if you are new or if you lived here for years in the Atlanta area or the Atlanta suburbs, I want to hear from you in the comment. Share your experience. And if I missed something off the list, be sure to put it down into the comment. Make sure you like and subscribe this video and share it with someone you know who can use it. All right, until the next video. Bye.